And I see Kitty Cam has gone live, so... Well, hello everybody, welcome, welcome. Hopefully we will get Rye on Discord soon. Cutting it a little close tonight because I'm currently packing up a costume to ship to my brother and praying it gets there before Halloween. I really hope he likes it. I put so much effort into that thing. Ooh, I actually had some sales? Let's check Gilda. Did that non-stuff actually sell? Okay, that's sold. That's sold. Yeah. Okay. No wonder she's down. Yeah, this is the retainer system. They do their market boards kind of bizarrely, and a lot of that has to deal with, like, oh, the Stowe cotton breeches finally sold. Those have been up since Dawntrail dropped. No, not priority mail. We are shipping this 12 pounds of costume UPS. Because my brother has an account with UPS and he's mailing us the shipping label. But yeah, that took forever to sell. Holy moly. Now, I've been going in and weekly adjusting the prices, so it's not like I haven't been monitoring things. And I've actually made decent money doing all this crafting. Heyo!
Hey.
So I don't know if you've heard or not. We're mailing my brother.
I thought it was con prep, but it turns out it's... You're going to be shipping the costume.
Yes, we're shipping the costume UPS.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my brother to email me the shipping label so we can print it out and I can slap it on the box and it can be on its way. I pray it will all get there safely. We could probably do a better packing for it, but we don't have the materials. Ooh, nice! My oopsies is actually selling a little. At least it's like glam pieces, maybe.
What's this?
Oh, remember when I built that high-end set on Monday and completely failed it?
Yes.
And none of it came out high quality? Well, I threw
How could I forget?
Yeah, I've been kicking myself all week over it. But apparently some of the pieces sold, and hopefully they're going to be used as glam or something, so at least I've made a little money back.
Normal quality still beats not having them at all.
I don't know, there is actually better gear in the game now, it's just a grind to get.
Uh-huh.
So, we were doing black mage things? Or mage things?
We were doing casty things.
And I think I was doing it as black mage. Where are you at?
Right where you left me.
Oh, right, Thavnir! Woohoo! That's gonna be a teleport fee!
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the monitor to see this one.
You know what? I'm just gonna suck an Aetheryte ticket.
Fine.
This deserves it because I'm literally teleporting to the other side of the freaking planet. 2,000
Yeah!
gil! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, taking off the 3-digit limit was the most evil thing they have ever done.
Yes, it was. Now, I do have some ways to cut it by like 40%, and even then, if you're not careful, you can just watch your guild go ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. There's a reason why I'm down to 800,000 from almost 2 mil. Yeah, Solution 9 to Razatan.
Yeah.
Ka-ching. Hiya.
And Solution 9 gets counted as...
Tyrell.
Yeah. So it's in the New World. So from the New World to, well, India.
Mm-hmm. I like the fact that
it is not cheap.
Sometimes it's cheaper to just teleport to the Crystarium, which is a complete other planet, because it routes through the Crystal Tower in Mordona.
Yes.
And just as the moon routes through Ilzabard.
Yeah.
Hello, Tepeki. Sorry we're late.
It'd be hilarious if they would keep track of where the moon is, like in the skybox.
I don't think...
And just distances off that.
Yeah, I don't think they do that, but I do know they do keep track of the moon's position in the skybox. It's just not for teleport fees.
Yeah. So obviously the data is there, and if they wanted to be cruel, they could do that instead of routing through Tower of Babel.
Yeah, exactly, Orca. It's like San Francisco to New Delhi via New York.
Pretty close.
Oh, and the teleport fees are only going to get worse. I cannot wait to see what the fee from, like, Gridania to Mericidia is going to be like, because Mericidia is Athreus' version of Australia.
Actually, at some point, you should probably take a look at what the fee from, like, Kugane to the New World is.
Oh, it is bad. It is bad. Because there's no direct route going the other direction.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking about the teleport fee.
Yeah. They do it based on routes that you have traveled via the network, and since we have nothing connecting going the other direction.
I figured it was all pure distance.
No, it is not pure distance. It's based on the distances between the network nodes.
Why?
That you've already tapped. This is why going and actually teleporting to the Crystarium can be a cheaper option to certain places. Because it routes through the Crystal Tower, so there's like no fee to go between it and Mordona.
Yep.
This is why my return, after 4 years since Shadowbringers, is still set to Crystarium.
Yeah. Mine is still set for
Quarry Mill?
Yes. Because I've never bothered resetting it. Those few occasions where I think about it, I'm not someplace where I want to set the return to.
Tepeki is giving us the evil eye because apparently we have more money to discuss rates of teleport fees across the planet than she does.
And Boko is off delivering packages.
Good! He can deliver mine to my brother!
Fill out all the proper customs forms.
Boko delivery!
The seeds of popularity. Tepeki is eager to share new developments in the search for the Justicar.
Theron, Rivelia, I hope you two have been well. Since last we spoke, the Justicar has been busy felling fiends across Thavnir, leaving a trail of witnesses behind in his wake. More than a few have reported seeing stones falling from the sky, which is all but confirms our theory that the treasure is causing the phenomenon. The stories share one more particular commonality. It seems the pests he hunts have always been the seedkin variety. Why he avoids beasts of the flesh and blood is yet a mystery.
He can't stand the sight of blood.
It bears mentioning that each of the eyewitnesses' accounts came from people who were rescued by the Judicar, who invariably appears just as these creatures attack. In fact, the Judicar has been there to save the day in every single instance of Seedkin-related mischief. Awfully suspicious, if you ask me, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. Some among the Radiant hosts have suggested that the Judicar is planning these assaults somehow, so he alone can reap the glory of thwarting them. I agree, I think this should be our next avenue of investigation. Many of the incidences occurred near the Giant Skull grounds, so we should start our search there. If we can find one of these monstrous plants before it finds hapless prey, we may yet be able to shed light upon the Judicar's methods. Time is of the essence, so let's leave at once. Do, 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 do. So let's see where this goes. Yeah, people were starting to worry that we weren't starting at 9:30 and that OBS might have been having problems. And I'm like, sorry, we start at 10.
Yes.
How did your game go with your dad?
Pretty good, though I think this might be end up being the last week.
Aww.
Another expansion.
Aww.
Yeah. Really quiet week in there. There's a few things I'd like to get to, and yeah.
Not happening.
Not if they release another safe game breaking expansion.
Any moving bushes? Slithering vines? Not here in any case. I'll search the west path. Why don't you two search the east? If you see something, don't strike to kill. Weaken it, then capture it with this rope. We'll learn much more from a live specimen. This is true. Honestly, at this point, I think we completely outskunk Cloud. We might have problems with Sephiroth. He just gives
definitely.
He just gives off too many Nero vibes. Yeah. Brain fart.
I'm sorry, I am forever scarred by the Sephiroth fight in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh god, that thing was horrible!
See?
I think I've gotten to it once, and man, did he smack me a new one.
You traded a few times.
He still smacked me a new one. It helps if you have a carbuncle!
Not really. Not for capturing. Come on, Bogo. Dirty rope.
Oh, we captured it.
Cultivated Morbol seedling.
Isn't it special?
Once again, I would like to apologize.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say the marbles were your fault and just be done with it.
Gee, thanks.
But you're still not apologizing for the behemoths.
Nope. It needed doing.
I see plenty of fauna roaming around, but the flora all seems to have rooted to the ground variety. Perhaps my hunch was incorrect. How about this little guy?
Captured Morbol seedling. Not even an Aurochs could break free from the knots binding this Morbol seedling. I guess we know our knots.
Ah, you found one! In fact, this is exactly as the eyewitness described. Why don't you keep it for the time being? Bring it to the Great Work, and I'll ask my acquaintances there to examine it with all haste. Well, she's been busy if she's acquainted with the Great Work already.
Yes. Well, she was going to ask after about alchemy supplies. So I guess she did.
The only lore for Rift and Boko is the lore that all people get when they get their first chocobo.
Yep.
Which is, it was a gift for attaining a rank with their appropriate grand companies, and that they are all quote-unquote gildings.
Yes.
So they're all male. Unless, of course, we decide to change it mentally in our heads. But that's... that is not on Square Enix's problem. And they have been faithful companions ever since. And they were actually... they were bred specifically to be battle chocobo. Hello, kindly alchemist. But first, to Piggy. This alchemist and I spoke briefly the last time I was here. Give her a little seedkin you caught, and we'll see what she makes of it. Mistress Tapiki told me what to expect. Well then, let's see the thing.
Thing is a good description.
Here, have the thing. Oh, I didn't expect it to be so diminutive. If Mistress Tapiki's intuition is correct, then I expect some interesting discoveries are in store. Dun dun dun.
One scene cut later.
You've brought me quite the fascinating specimen indeed. I can't say for certainty that this creature's growth isn't natural in the slightest. Biologically, it's all but a sapling, as you can tell by its size. Yet it is the result of a specific alchemic mixture which is used to spur the growth of seeds and mycelium to an unnatural degree.
Mycelium, I guess.
Excuse me. The agents have had a side effect of making the creatures more aggressive, which explains why some small specimen would so boldly attack beings larger than itself. Yet the solution requires ingredients most rare, and the cost of producing enough to synthesize it would be beyond means of most. So whoever's behind this, they are likely well heeled. As for the creatures themselves, if they were grown artificially, perhaps that explains why most incidents involve small seedkin. Rather than wait for them to mature naturally, the Justicer must have accelerated their growth so he could deploy huge numbers over a short span of time. In fact, his plan likely requires that they be small, weak foes in order to guarantee his victory. After all, the Great Justicer can hardly be expected to bear the blemish of defeat. With these new details brought to light, I'm almost certain he's staging these attacks on the common folk, now that we have a new perspective to guide our search. Perhaps you should return to Yodilamad. I heard the Justicar is the talk of the village, and they doubtless have stories to share. A splendid idea, thank you! Your findings have brought us a step closer to unmasking that villain. Let's hurry to Yodilamad. The more accounts we have of the Justicer, the better our chances of predicting his next move. No real backstory per se for Boko and Rift.
It helps that they were kind of introduced in-game.
I
Most of your backstory writing has been pre-game.
Yeah. I will say that Boko takes his package deliveries with the Mughals very seriously ever since we went through the post-Mughal quest line. And
Yes.
he actually got a hold of a post-Mughal barding set.
Which is what you see him wearing.
Yeah. And Rift...
Buku does his best to ride herd on the Mughals.
Good luck on that one. Oh, I feel sorry for him. Rift is a bit of a more noble soul. He very much is kind of a tank type. And he hates being run through water, particularly cold water, because of all the times I had to cut between Gridania to Mordona, through the Corathus highlands, through the river to avoid the mobs. He has almost PTSD about it.
Kind of like your PTSD with sheep.
Yes. Do not ever mention those sheep again.
Okay, I won't mention them. Maybe gift you one. Rest assured, the Radiant Host are well aware of the Justisar. Every day we receive more reports of him combating beasts in the surrounding wilderness. These encounters are never on well-traveled roads, it seems. They occur in remote regions that we scarcely patrol, along routes that are only used by a small number of merchants and porters. We've concluded that the Justisar either has uncommon knowledge of the behavioral patterns of these creatures, or that he keeps close company with a merchant who travels those obscure paths. Maybe a bit of both.
Well, considering they did say when he first appeared, he was in the disguise of a merchant.
Yep. Like all the others have been. Whatever the man's true motives may be, it's clear he has uncommon knowledge of the region and its wildlife. The question is, how exactly would he come to know such things? Plants. Literally, plants.
Yeah. Over here. No?
Enthused youth. Right
Oh.
ahead of us.
Hello, enthused youth.
Oh, you're hungry to learn more of the Justisar? He's amazing! I was lucky enough to catch a glimpse of him on the road leading here, facing down a fearsome creature. All of 2 feet tall, maybe? I don't know how he did it, but he called down rocks from the sky to knock that thing flat. The Radiant hosts were away on patrol, so if he hadn't come to our rescue, that brute would have marched right into our homes. Funny that. He shouted that he was the savior of Raz.Han and even waved at me. Oh, he looked so impressive with the sun shining behind him.
I bet he did.
He knows his staging, at least. He looked so gallant standing over his fallen foe, waving at me with the sun at his back. Yeah. Don't tell me you've come chasing that half-baked savior. The younglings might be taken in by his honeyed words, but anyone with experience can see he's nothing but a charlatan. I have a story to prove it.
Oh, we're all ears.
Yes, well. A merchant I know took a tumble as he was transporting his goods. Not long after comes the Justicar, looking chivalrous as you please in his shining armor. But did he offer a helping hand? No, he ran off with nary a glance backwards. He may go on about slaying beasts, but a real hero would never ignore someone in need, even if they were just suffering from scraped knees and a bruised ego.
This is true.
What kind of hero would abandon a person in need? My friend is lucky his wounds weren't worse, else he may have died there.
Your friend is lucky. We would have at least given some assistance. Ain't that right, Rift? Oh dear. What do we have here? A very startled man. A foppish man. Theron, Rylea, do you two have a moment? I'm having a little trouble here. I sought this merchant out because I was told he dealt with alchemics in the Great Work. I thought he might know something about the Justicar, but when I asked, he's been like this ever since.
Really? Apologies, I was just surprised that you would ask me about that madman. What connection could he possibly have with me?
The fiends he fights are growing with rare alchemic materials. We think he may be staging these encounters. Since you deal with such wares, I wonder if you might know how he came into their possession.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I've never spoken to that man.
Huh?
Yes, slashed out.
I smell the scent of a liar. I very much doubt that. Perhaps I'll be more receptive to questioning from you two.
One slashed out coming up. He seems to have intimate knowledge of trade routes and alchemy. Who taught him, I wonder?
Yes.
Come now. Any merchant with a nose for profit has good relations with the alchemists. By your way of thinking, any one of us could be in league with Verazan.
Ah, we finally have a name.
Who did you say?
Verazan, you say? And who is that, may I ask?
Huh? What? Did I? No, that's my name.
Stare!
I'd be be a fool to continue this charade any longer. My son Verazan is the one you know as the Justisar. Your son now!
Oh dear, now I can see why you're having issues.
To be suddenly confronted with his litany of misdeeds, I quite lost my composure. Yeah, I don't blame her.
You're his father? Then, do you know how he came into possession of such rare materials and knowledge?
He stole them from me. My most valuable materials and my precious maps. Yet I was the one who chose to hide that fact, and I bear the blame for the consequences.
What can you tell him about him as a person?
Verazan was obsessed with tales of legendary heroes, even from a young age. I paid a great deal of money to have him tutored in the art of the bow. He became quite skilled at it, in fact, but not quite as skilled as his arrogance led him to believe. Due to this, and perhaps a lack of ambition, he never aspired to true greatness. Instead, he came to rely upon fanciful equipment and exotic potions, rather than honing what skill he had. It pained me to see him fall into dissoluteness, but he would brook no counsel. So, several years ago, I gave him enough coin to support his lavish lifestyle, and told him never to speak with me again. He didn't, until but recently, when he darkened my doorstep once more.
And that was when he stole your goods?
Although I would have willingly given them if he'd but asked, he was rambling almost incoherently, saying that his heroic deeds as the Justisar had caught the eye of someone named Abiyahi, leader of the Passage of the Unbound, whoever they are.
Uh-huh.
And now we have the leader's name.
This has been quite an informative line.
He claimed that under the guidance of his newfound allies, he had obtained a great power. Power enough to eclipse all heroes who have come before and shall come after, as he put it. It seems he gives what money he still has to these people. To think that for all his fanciful words, he is only dying to grasp at hollow glory, all at the expense of Razdat-Han. There is no greater shame as a father.
Given what we know of its shadowy group, they may have likely aimed to sow discontent through Verazan's deeds. He may be so blinded by his own desire for adoration that he can't see those who are pulling his strings.
You're saying he's being used? If that's true, then I can no longer remain silent, despite what shame it may bring. I see now that sharing my story might be the only way to save my son.
Indeed, I suggest you tell the Radiant Host at once. Of course, we'll be pouring our efforts into stopping him.
Thank you for giving me direction. I didn't imagine our meeting would end this way.
You are not to blame for your son's misdeeds. The fact that you're no longer hiding it is proof of that. Truth be told, I'm not entirely unsympathetic towards Verazan. I basked in my father's reflected glory, while having none of my own to speak of. The glory Verazan seeks is similarly false. I, too, shall visit the Radiant Host and have them spread word of Judicur's true nature. If people are wise to his tricks, they will be more likely to aid us. He'll soon learn... He'll soon learn that the legend built on lies is no match for true heroism.
Floundering fame. Tepeke appears pleased with the blow dealt to the Justisar's credibility.
Greetings, Theron, Melia. Virazan's father has been good at his word and has confessed the truth of his son's actions to whomever will listen. Even among the younglings, far fewer sing the Justicar praises. The tide is turning in our favor at last, and the Radiant Host is making ready to tighten the net. Speaking of which, they had a curious news to share. They've been examining the stones left behind by the Justicar and noticed a pattern. They were all varieties of rock commonly found near the site of each encounter.
I was wondering about them.
Near the Giant Gull grounds, the Justicar seems to have called down a hail of what else but giant gulls. I have my own theory about that, what it means, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. Rocks weren't summoned, they moved.
Yeah, I'd been wondering if they were just, setting off that much Earth Aether, but I guess not.
You probably actually set off more Earth Aether than this guy.
Well, than him, yes. The artifact, I was willing to believe it could do quite a lot of Aether.
I've got a funny feeling he's not really tapping into it too well.
Thank goodness.
Yes, we'd be in a lot more trouble if he did.
However, it has definitely lived up to its reputation of everyone around the user is in trouble.
Yeah. Indeed, the perch of the apex slightly lifts whatever stone is nearby and brings them crashing down to earth. If our suspicion is correct, we're one step closer to unraveling its mysteries.
One wonders what would happen in the middle of a sandy desert.
Despite these favorable developments, the Judicar's popularity remains a problem. Even with the recent blow to his credibility, most ardent followers still idolize him. In fact, I hear he is handing letters to the youth of Razathan. Through their contents are closely guarded secrets. All the more reason to investigate, don't you think? Once we get to Razathan, if I question people around the marketplace, could you cover the city's western quarter? That's where the young followers tend to gather. After we've collected enough information, let's meet and share our findings. See you in Razathan!
If you could name that thing so that it just pulls out all the rocks in a field or something like that, farmers would pay you.
Yes. Yes, they would. No more Tuolumne Gumbo. Let's be honest, that is a problem.
And yes, Orca, don't fight him in a quarry.
Yeah, up at the foothills of the Sierras going into Yosemite, there is a common occurrence in all the fields, jokingly referred to as Tuolumne Gumbo. There is rocks everywhere that go deep in ground, and trying to get them out is a pain in the arse.
It's a common thing. I mean, New England farms are famous for it. They all tend to have these very nice rough rock walls around them. Guess where the rocks came from?
Yep. And I believe a lot of that has to do with lava and ash deposits. I could be mistaken.
Yosemite may be New England. It's more like leavings of glaciers.
It could be that too.
And someone really woke up Siren Vale. While we make our way, there is gaming news this week.
Oh?
I told you. Back in, I guess the 80s and going into the 90s, there was a series of games put out by Mayfair Games. They were fairly popular at the time. They, started with one and did like about a dozen of them. Mayfair Games has been through a few adventures. It got bought out by like Asmodee or something like that at one point, and basically recently reconstituted itself with some of the original founders. They were doing a Kickstarter. The series of games is usually called the Crayon Rail games, and started with Empire Builder, which has this map of the U.S. with a field of hexagrid dots, not actual hexagons, but a bunch of dots in that pattern. And basically, you start off with some money, and you're given assignments of deliver X materials to Y place, and you start building rails. And you have, basically it's a train game, and you build rails by drawing on the board between all these little mileposts with crayons. Fairly simple, a lot of fun.
Yeah, I remember playing that one in high school and college, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and we'll get into more after we talk to this guy.
Girl, actually.
Oh,
you're the ones who are following that Topeki around. I heard she's spreading rumors about the city's savior. I wouldn't let her harm his reputation any more than she already has, so I have nothing to say to her lapdogs. Gee, thanks. Love ya too, lady.
Saviors of Razdadhan?
Saviors of the final days?
Flame is fleeting.
Sulking youth.
Yeah, this is sulking. The Justicer gave me that invitation himself, only for some thief to snatch it right out of my hand. Okay, then. Huh? You believe in the Justicer too? Keeping your mouth shut. I didn't have a chance to read the whole letter before it was stolen, but he is gathering his most devoted for a special audience. The bastard who stole my invitation is clearly up to no good. He even muttered something about getting revenge. But who could hate someone so noble? Someone who got bonked on the head by a rock.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
The letter was stolen before he could read it all, but it looks like the Justicer is gathering his followers for a special audience. Okay, more or less a repeat. Yeah, the original game was Empire Builder.
But it was most famously known as Eurorails.
Well, that's a later one, and I was going to get to that. And we're already here, so never mind.
Downcast Youth.
Yeah, I know about the letters. Me and my friends didn't get one, though. The grown-ups get angry if we talk about the Justicar. But guess what? I heard Zessel talking about him over by Merhaid's Mayhem. He had a big grin on his face, too. Does that mean the Justicar isn't a bad man like the grown-ups say? No. The most useful clue points to the merchant Zessel having some connection to Verzon. He was last seen near Merhaid's Mayhem.
Time to head to the Mayhem.
So yeah, they did a second one called British Rails, which was, same type of thing, just the map was of Great Britain. And there was a bit more. These are all somewhat cheaply produced. The maps came in like 4 parts with a puzzle cut so you'd fit them together. They do have this surface so that you can use crayons or dry erase markers and just wipe them off afterwards. They did very well, and they then did a big box special edition called Eurorails. Map of Europe, as you might guess. And there was a big deluxe edition in the 80s. Milton Bradley put out a line of games called Game Master, most famously including Axis and Allies. TSR, and they were in these big, giant boxes. TSR imitated them with a couple of games, including the old Buck Rogers game. And the Eurorails box was basically the same size and shape. Allowed them to have a nice folded map.
Oh yeah, this is all tabletop.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Mayfair Games. Mayfair has never done a video game in its existence. Mayfair actually got going in the very late 70s as a wargame publisher, though they migrated towards family games as the 80s went on.
Ah, you can smell the spices from here.
Yeah, my nose is burning.
Oh, come on. We have a free meal pass every time we come here. Who could turn down free
Zero's
food?
Curry is... when it's Zero's Curry, I can. It's true what they say. A fool and his gill are soon parted. Speaking of fools... Huh? Why, if it isn't one of the heroes of the final days? This isn't about the map I sold to your companion, is it? You'll find it points away to the...
It's him!
Oh God, it is him!
Oh my gosh, we have a returning character and he is a twat!
You'll find it points the way to the vaults of Alzadal III exactly as described. I may have employed a few, creative methods to entice my customers. Oh, what merchant doesn't? No, the map was fine.
I see you're as unscrupulous as ever.
We should tell him it's about the map and drag him in front of Vitra and then start grilling him.
Yes.
Now, a man can't fill his belly on virtue and honesty. Any red, something tells me that's not why you're here.
Yeah, you sold something to...
After the Justicar? Your choice of query is unusual, to say the least. Well, perhaps I can help you along, eh? A young man came asking for a map to open the way to Uznair. I sold him every map I had, assuring him that the one he needed was among them. You little... I suppose he found it, as I hear these letters that were handed out contain a copy of the map. I dare say that young fellow is the Justicar himself, and he's planning a clandestine meeting in the Uznair canals. Mind you,
A map of Uznair.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
The canals of Uznair is the treasure dungeon!
Oh, God. Well, this could go entertainingly sideways. Mind you, it appears he has no shortage of enemies. No doubt they'll try to interfere. Thankfully, Razathan isn't known for large-scale criminal organizations, but that hasn't kept the less scrupulous citizens from dirtying their hands when times are desperate. What I hear, bandits seeking to rob trade caravans keep running into the Justicar during his fiend-felling exploits, causing their raids to end in failure. Like as not, they'll try to infiltrate his group of followers and settle the score.
Uh-huh.
And that's where my knowledge of the matter ends. If you're wondering where the meeting place is, all I remember is that the spot marked on the copied maps is somewhere in the Shroud of the Samga. So, does that answer your queries? All too well.
And no more employing orphans in your schemes.
Location is somewhere within the Shroud of the Samga. I can't remember much beyond that, so perhaps you could stop bothering me now.
Can I just report him to
Yes.
our dragon friend?
I think he needs a nice, quick audience with Vitra.
Yes. Yes, he does. I'm just glad that Vitra wasn't that soggy and hard to light over the entire situation.
Yes.
Because it could have gone so badly.
Well, admittedly, it was a case of the place more or less serving its intended purpose. He just didn't expect us to be the treasure hunters.
Yeah, sorry, friend.
But anyway, no, Empire Builder is a board game. It's meant for like around, you can do it 2-player. It's more meant for around like 4 to 6. And like I said, you have the little post map, milepost map, and there's regulars and there's mountains, which are more expensive to go through, and you're building rails. I'm going the wrong way.
We need to speak with Topeka first.
To build routes so that you can deliver goods that are on these demand cards that you draw. You deliver one, you take the money it gives you, and you draw a new one, and you slowly build out your network. And it's basically first person to a set amount of money. I would have no idea what that is after 30 years. And have connected like 5 of the 6 major cities.
Hey, Topeki. Those in support of the Justisar doesn't seem surprised when I told him of his misdeeds, but they still were reluctant to betray him. In short, I've had no luck. What about you two? Oh, we hit the jackpot!
A jackpot I would rather not have ever met.
Your investigative abilities never cease to amaze me. As for this gathering,
just call us
Verashan.
Just call us Gazect.
As for this gathering Verashan is planning, I expect there's some scheme to prop up his flagging popularity. Even so, many of his devotees are younglings ill-equipped to make the perilous journey to the meeting place. If there's any sense, rather than attempt to travel these directly, they'd stop at settlements along the way to rest and confirm the route. You said the map in the Shroud of Samga, yes? That means Palaka Stand is the closest settlement. I hear many took refuge there during the final days, and now it's a bustling town in its own right. That's good to hear. The arrival of more people will hardly raise eyebrows, making it a perfect place to avoid unwanted attention while they make ready. We should head there before they leave on the final leg of their journey. Yeah, Palaka Stand was originally a small tribe community of hunter-gatherers.
Yeah.
To hear it's actually kind of blossomed is actually kind of good news.
But the Empire Builder Crayon Rail series lasted into the early to mid-90s. They did things like Australia Rails.
I remember people cursing immensely over Japan Rails.
Mostly me. Nippon Rails, Map of Japan. I played it 2-player. Note, these games are usually meant for, best if you have multiple people. I played it 2-player with Colin. I don't want to think about playing it 3-player or more. There were places where it was nearly impossible for the second person to get into that part of the map. Because it's Japan, it's all mountains and narrow passages.
Yep. That sounds about right.
One of the last ones they did, which they did a fairly nice job on, which I never played, and got a lot of good reviews, was Iron Dragon, which was a fantasy rail game.
Yeah, I remember that coming
out. It was
out.
really good.
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
That was like the last one they did.
I was right. Many of the youths are carrying pieces of parchment. Those must be the letters. Yet it seems my reputation has preceded me. Our suspected followers clearly avoid me whenever I try to approach them. Still, we can use this to our advantage. None of them would dare leave Palaka stand while there's a risk I might follow after. I'll keep watch over the comings and goings, but will make sure to leave obvious blind spots. If one of the Justicer's followers attempt to escape the village, I need you to go after them. Now, find a vantage point that affords a good view while keeping hidden. Once you've started pursuing our unwitting targets, I won't be far behind. I sense a follow quest incoming.
Yeah. Behind these inconspicuous crates. If they were cardboard boxes, we could hide in them. People with obvious maps. Yep, follow him from a safe distance. Where is our guy? Ah, there he is. No one's following. Someone there? Just your imagination. I'm in the clear. I need to hurry.
And off he goes.
Over the bridge. Through the woods, but I don't think he's going to grandmother's house.
Oh, he stopped.
I can't
see him.
see him.
There he is.
Ah, yes. Excuse me, Mr. Gorilla.
And there's
Okay.
our destination.
No, that wasn't a very long one.
Yes, he does. You were correct on that, Orca.
Not the only one. The portal should be nearby, and then I'll finally meet him. Interesting choice of music. What? You're the hero who saved us in the final days. What are you doing here? So you're working alongside that woman I saw at the village? I've heard about the rumors she's spreading. I had no idea she'd enlisted your aid. Justicer saved me, you see. I was transporting goods for a local merchant who was too miserly to even hire a proper escort. A ferocious creature ambushed me, but my savior appeared from nowhere, and saw off the beast. I owe him my life. It might have been endangered by him. That's why I came here. See if there's any truth to the rumors. But now I understand I'm in over my head. I'm going back home. Here, you can have the map. I trust you to take the measure as a Justicer and to share the truth with us all.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad our credit is still good with somebody.
Apologies for watching from the shadows, but I was afraid my presence might have startled the lad. I was able to hear what he said, though, and his gratitude towards the Justicar seems genuine. I dare say the other followers feel similarly. Now that we have the map of our own, let's open the portal and confront Vezar.
Yeah, I know that symbol.
Oh no. Oh no. That's a lot of rocks.
Bigger than usual, too. Yeah.
I was afraid of this. What a sight. Did the treasure cause this?
It's not a usual part of it, no. Oh my, if it isn't the hero who saved Razdatan, nay, the world itself. I never expected someone so vaunted to attend my audience, but I am honored nonetheless.
Grr. Enough of your games, Vrans. Stop this madness at once.
After giving you such a warm welcome, these are the thanks I get? While 'tis true that I was once known by that name, 'twas merely a guise I wore until I discovered my true self. So long as I am the masked hero of Razdatan, I shall not suffer any to call me Vrazan.
But that is your name, isn't it?
One or three.
One.
A hero should take pride in their name. Twould seem the Justicar's meager alter ego has been brought to light. But will he shrink once more into the shadows of mundane obscurity, or embark on the next chapter of his legend?
Oh boy.
Very well. My name shall ring throughout Razdatan. Let it be known that the Justicar is Vrazan, and Vrazan is the Justicar.
At least he owns up to it. What are you saying? You unleashed Perch of the Apex upon your own followers.
You know its name? Wait, I remember you. The girl from Dawntrail, yes? Your village's artifact is not discriminating in its wrath. Some among my followers harbored wicked intentions and brought sorrow unto my enemies. The true of hurt caught in the aftermath were merely unfortunate. They were feeling very unfortunate from the looks of them.
Yes. But they believed in you, even though you tricked them. What kind of hero are you?
The amazingly self-absorbed kind. You too would oppose me. I had thought that as fellow saviors we might find some common ground, yet it would seem we are destined to walk different paths.
Because you're not saving anyone except your own ego.
Speaking of, now, faced with unknown peril, a great fervor rages within me.
Yeah, everyone get back. There's going to be explosions.
And rocks. Don't forget the rocks. However, here is not where we shall match wits. No, a more fitting battleground is in order. We will meet again soon, you have my word.
Ah, shut up.
Good shot.
I applaud you, girl.
But he is still gone.
Oh. Still, good shot, Becky.
It'd be hilarious if he showed up with a goose egg in the next quest.
So, can you tell us what happened here?
Not that we can't guess.
He gathered all of us and made a grand speech, claimed he was the hero that would drive back the flood of fiends threatening Thavnair. Then he spoke of his anger at the recent rumors. He told us to go forth and repair his damaged reputation so that the people would love him again, and he became quite impassioned, in fact.
As for us two, we were here to teach him a lesson, biding our time till his back was turned. But we couldn't stomach his self-righteous drivel any longer. He acts like he's a god come to grace Thavnair, but most people have grown wise to his tricks, including the Radiant Host. We stepped forward and told him as much, and demanded he admit he'd been pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. That's when he started waving that thing about. We soon learned that the rumors of its power were true, and rocks started falling down around us.
Even us true believers were not spared. There was nowhere to run. The Justicers said such power cannot be fettered, and that sacrifices are unavoidable, and all the while, he was laughing. We pleaded with him for mercy, but he just made him angrier. He flourished the object again, and yet more rocks assailed us. It was horrible, stones big and small raining down endlessly, until you two appeared, that is. Thank you for telling us what happened. I only wish we could have arrived sooner. Now, just to set things straight, it was you two that brandished your weapons first, yes?
Well, I won't deny that, but we're only trying to bring the truth of his misdeeds to light. Though we might have had some personal scores to settle on top of that.
Before I left Palaka's stand, I asked the Radiant Host there to look out for anyone returning from the wilderness. I suggest you head there and seek their aid. While you're there, share them what you just told us. As for the pair of you, don't even think about running away, or you'll have us to deal with.
Oh.
No explosions? Not even one?
Not tonight.
Ah, someone's pleased with herself.
We are getting a grip on things. But yeah, the only real combat is going to be for the 100 quest.
Everyone has returned to the care of the Radiant Host. As for the ruffians who meant to attack Varathan, it seems that their history of violence for which they may soon answer for. Several among Varazan's followers were dealt serious wounds, but we can be grateful that no one lost their lives. It's exactly as the old saying describes. Master of the Apex shall be showered with good fortune, yet leave only sorrow in their wake. The part about sorrow certainly seems true, at least. We can but hope that Vrazan's spell over the people will be broken at last. When the word has transpired here, it becomes common knowledge. Let that buoy our spirits as we return to Yildilimad. I get the distinct impression that this relic runs off of emotional fervor.
Maybe.
Because it seems to activate whenever he has a heightened emotional state, whether it be anger or fear or what have you. Bump. Yes, you can have some glacial greens. Good boy. Well, that certainly was an ordeal. Although Vrazan got away, we can look back on what transpired to plan our next course of action. It appears that the treasure takes rocks from the surrounding environment and makes them rain down on the wielder's surroundings. However, the power seems somewhat haphazard. While Vrazan himself wasn't struck, the boulders assailed friends and foes alike. Something else is nagging at me as well. The stone we saw in the canal seemed quite a bit larger than the others. I don't know what to make of it, but I will give it some thought.
Okay, not just me.
We still don't exactly know how he's controlling the Apex abilities either. We must focus on the mysteries while we continue our investigation. Emotion. It's all raw emotion. As for Vrazan himself, he was just as his father said, wasn't he? His so-called heroism an empty charade, like a child playing a being hero from the storybooks. He seems motivated by vain desire to gain the love of the people, yet he cares nothing for their well-being. He'll learn his lesson soon enough. None will sing his praises after what has happened in Uznar spreads. Even he must know this. I worry that his desperation to drive him to worse misdeeds. If the treasure is used with a reckless abandon, it could cause untold harm. I must discuss this with the Radiant Host. Together we will be able to capture Vrazan before he attempts anything drastic. Stand by it for now. I'll be in touch when the moment I have something to share.
Which will be Monday.
Yes. Because we've got at least 2 more quests. If not 3.
I was wondering which one that was. 2. Because this is the 98 coming up, and they're all even numbers. So there's the 98 and the 100. And the big fight will be the 100.
So, the hidden spot here, or back to the Mihane?
Maybe back to the Mihane this time.
Better food.
I'm going to need to be someplace a little more accessible during the weekend.
Yeah, well. Yeah, the one big battle is gonna happen on the 100 quest.
Yep.
That's
Just
pretty
like
much
last time.
guaranteed. But yeah, this guy's being a special boy.
I will definitely need to get a bit more pally practice in.
Well,
Hopefully I can find some time during the weekend to do a couple of trust runs at least.
yeah. And then it's dealing with Beardless Ramu again. Oh, we were actually making really good progress last
yes,
week.
we were.
I'm just finding it hilarious that the answer very much is
All
all tanks all the time.
Yep.
I'm just finding that hilarious. I just wish we could do that with Seed of Sacrifice.
Yeah, I know. The fact that you can't invuln your way through that thing is really annoying.
Yeah.
Who does he think he is?
He thinks he's the hero of light.
Well, that's his problem.
Or warrior of light.
I wish he'd stop making it my problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not so lucky. Oh no, there will be streams this weekend.
Oh yes.
Baron
Just the usual ones.
Baron has game tomorrow and will be out for a special dinner afterwards. But me and Rye, we're streaming. We are so streaming.
Streaming.
You want the barbecue or you want the hummus dip? Okay.
And a good view of the dancers.
Always. Definitely not a bad view of the dancers, that's for sure. It is time to call it a night. Thank you all very much for coming along. We will continue this and probably wrap it up on Monday. Tomorrow night will be more Deep Dungeon and then Fun with the Buttons on Sunday. So,
Yes.
hope to see you all there. Until then, be safe, be well, get a good night's sleep, and we will see you next time.
Yes, everyone have a good night. Hope to see you here at